What's up, guys? It's Uncle Freedom coming to you on another glorious day off. And I feel like it's time for us to talk about off-duty and everyday carry firearm solutions. So if that sounds interesting to you and you like the shit I've done before, go ahead and like, subscribe, and tell a friend and share because by God, we're growing and it's kind of damn cool. So when we talk about everyday carry firearms or your off-duty carry firearms or your self-defense weapons system, it is just that. It is a system. A system is comprised of multiple elements that make whatever you're trying to do effective. I have news for you. A Streamlight TLR6 is not an effective weapon light. It's just not. That said, if your firearm has the capability to take a weapons mounted light, you need a weapons mounted light. And in addition to needing a weapons mounted light on there, you need to learn how to do things like not activate it with your fucking trigger finger, something we see all the time. This doesn't help you because you're like, stop, fuck, where'd it go? Okay, learn to operate it with your offhand thumb, please, for the love of God. So that said, having a light on your firearm is ultra important because here's how this works. If I can't identify what that is, I can't shoot it unless I really want to go to jail and eat prison food. It's a bad idea, don't do it. Also, if you have a weapons mounted light and you drop your keys inside of the movie theater, don't do this and look for your fucking keys. Otherwise, we're going to have a long, drawn-out, protracted discussion about how stupid that was, and you're probably going to catch a charge for it. Not a good idea. That said, if you're going to carry a gun every day, and you should be carrying this anyway, you should have a normal EDC light. Now, yes, EDC lights can be used as a bludgeoning device. I could Such 00 the shit out of somebody with the bezel of this light if I wanted to. However, you will not see me carrying an O-light because in my experience, O-lights are just not as reliable. And now for the cost of them, I can get a Streamlight, which is pretty damn good. That said, if I'm going to have my choice of a handheld light, I'm going to carry a Surefire because they have been bulletproof, reliable. I have some that are over 20 years old and they still work. I don't need more of a track record than that. My go-to and standard is pretty much the EDC L1T. This is a 5 and 500 lumen light, runs off one single CR123, and if I need to look for my keys, I have a 5 lumen function off the gas pedal I just barely touch. That said, if I'm in a dark environment, and I have a newsflash for people, and here's a little tip for you. If it's fucking dark outside, which it pretty much is guaranteed to do, at least half of the fucking time that you're alive, because that's the way the world works, you should probably already have it in your hand. Like, I know you want to be super ninja and prove to the world that you have the world's greatest night vision, or that your operator is fuck, but I can tell you right now that the easiest way to mitigate a lot of things is if you have a light in your hand and you see something squirrely going on and somebody's staring at you or it makes you uncomfortable, just, hey, what are you doing, right? No harm, no foul. You shine a light in their eyes. They can't fucking see anything for a second. But as long as they weren't driving in between a crowd of midgets and trying not to run anybody, little people, and trying not to run anybody over, you're probably not going to have any issues with that. So have your light in your hand because this is an easy way to de-escalate a situation, identify a threat, and if you actually needed to draw the firearm, well, there's nothing that says you can't just flip this bitch out of the way and now I can do this and activate my weapon light to what I need to do. But point being, please don't look for shit with your weapon mounted light. Look for shit with your handheld light because that's what this is for. That is not for that. That is for making holes in people. Now, when it comes to everyday carry firearms, we all have the discussion. I carry a 45 because they don't make a 46. 2 world wars. 10 mil because if it just passes within 3 inches of you, it'll scare the life force right out of you. Right. No, that's horseshit. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell you, as somebody that's been to lots of ballistics classes and shot lots of ballistics gel, if I were to take similar ballistic gel shots of 9, 40, 45, and 10 mil, and I were not to tell you which one was which, you couldn't tell me which one was which. I know that because I've watched it happen in class. You can't tell. Why? Because handguns put holes in things. They don't have hydrostatic shock. They're not going to hit and the lungs are going to fly out of the body. Sorry, Joe Biden, that's not how this shit works. However, the most important factors we're looking at with handgun ammunition is, can it penetrate deep enough to get to the threat? That's important. And I'll tell you why it's important. It's not just important because maybe you're shooting a 500-pound guy with like 2 extra people worth of casual winter weight attached to his body in the middle of the summer. Maybe it's wintertime and the guy's got on like the world's thickest Carhartt, a hoodie, then a flannel, and then a shirt, and then a merino wool base layer, and then like 6 inches of extra insulation before you actually get to the vital zones. Hell, you might shoot through a foot of shit before you get to the vitals. Or, here's another one for you. Why do people get shot in the hands on a gunfight? Because we threat focus and we shoot the thing pointed at us. If you hit somebody here and it has to pass through here and here to get to here, or maybe I have to make a transverse shot across the thing, that's a lot of distance. Okay, that's something you have to think about. That's the reason that penetration protocol is actually in place, is because if you don't get far enough to hit anything, you don't really do anything. So when we look at ammunition, the other thing we're looking at is, can it reliably defeat barriers that we may encounter? In law enforcement, that means compound angle auto glass. That means 2 layers of sheet metal. That means heavy clothing because of the Carhartt thing I just mentioned. That also means being able to shoot through sheetrock or plywood. It's important. You have to be able to do it. The round still has to do what it needs to do once it gets to the target. In the civilian record, you're probably not going to be shooting it out through too many windshields. However, I will tell you there is a drastic, huge difference between something like Hornady's 115 grain critical defense and Hornady's 124 grain critical duty. Mainly being neither one of them were designed to run out of a full-size firearm. So if you're running a Glock 19 as your everyday carry firearm, 124 grain plus P critical duty is probably not the round for you, believe it or not. What the 124 grain was actually more developed to do was to go out of something like, say, this subcompact Glock 26 or a P365 or a 43 or something like that. It's designed to shoot through that, still be able to defeat all the barriers, and create the performance that we need to get penetration to the vital areas of a target. Why is that important, and why was it designed that way? Well, this is an off-duty gun or a backup gun. That's where we get it from. Guys that are in cover and undercover work, they're off-duty carrying their firearm, or they're actually in a position where they need it as a backup gun. We still need to meet all of those protocols to actually get a stop for the ammunition, but we need to be able to do it out of a smaller gun. And that is where things like the Hornady 124 grain critical duty come into play. 124 grain plus P will beat all of the FBI protocols and stuff out of a short barrel of a subcompact, a 365, a 43, a 43X, a 48, or a Glock 26. That is what that 124 grain stuff is for. So this gun is a great example of one that cannot take a weapons mounted light. I bought a TLR6 for this, and it's hot garbage, and I won't use it. That said, when I carry something like this, I change out my everyday flashlight to something like this, the G2 Law Enforcement. 600 lumens of light on the first little touch there, but you'll notice I have this cool ring on here because it's a NUC, and NUCs are awesome. That's not what this is for. This is called the switchback. The switchback enables me, again, because it's fucking dark and I was paying attention to my surroundings and I had my light out because I am not fucking night vision equipped as a human being unless I put shit on. So I had my light out and I was looking around and I was, checking for stuff, and all of a sudden I see something squirrely and I'm like, hey, what you doing, right? Well, now that dude suddenly becomes a real threat. I flip this over, I draw my gun, I present out, and I press this with my thumb on the thumb wrap. And now I have essentially a weapons mounted light with a full firing grip, which enables me to control the firearm. Yes, I can neck index, I can FBI, I can Harry's method, and if I had a really big mag light, I could do the Masada Ayub. I don't. This works great for that, and this will be my EDC flashlight if I'm running the Glock 26. So, what have we covered so far, and why is it important? Well, it's important because you need your ammo to actually get to the point of where it's going. I can tell you at a 9mm, that is pretty much 124 grain, 147 grain plus P HSTs. That is the 127 grain, 127 grain and 115 grain Ranger T, so the black Talons plus P on both of those. Hydrochocks fail, and I can tell you the Lehigh Critical Defense, Lehigh Extreme Defender, those are fucking badass through any barrier. And the other one for me is always Critical Duty, because I run Critical Duty in my CZP-07 with a Streamlight TLR7A, or in my Glock 19. I run 135s in there, 135s in there, 124s in my Glock 26, and in my duty firearm, which I carry off duty all the time, which is the Glock 22 Gen 3 with an extended Vickers mag release and TLR1 on there. That guy, when I carry it, it's running, wouldn't you know it, 175 grain Hornady Critical Duty, because Critical Duty fucking works, and it does what it's supposed to. I carry that with a, what are these called? Neomag. I run that with a Neomag. That's how I carry my spare mag when I do that. But something else to keep in mind when we deal with your fucking off-duty or concealed carry firearm is the fact that your ammo does not last forever. Anything that you run if this is what you're going to carry and you have decided you're going to shoot Hornady 135 grain plus P critical duty, you need to go out and put a couple of hundred rounds of that ammo through this gun to make sure this gun eats it, does what it's supposed to, and is accurate and reliable with it. Because the day you figure out that your cheap ass fucking hollow points you bought on sale in a box of 50 because they said herders on them don't fucking function in your firearm does not need to be the day that you're shitting your pants because somebody's trying to kill you. You should probably have figured that out beforehand. It's just like carrying one in the chamber. Why is that important that you carry with one in the chamber? Because if you think your brain is going to function this shit, oh fuck, stop. It's not going to, and you're probably going to get killed in the process. I would be a really shitty way to go out if they took your fucking unloaded firearm and beat you to death with it. You almost want to have your obituary say you got fucked to death when you walked into the wrong party. Please, for the love of God, carry one in the chamber. Make sure you're comfortable with it. Take the time to get comfortable with it. Modern firearms are reliable and safe. So, the other thing with your ammo is, if you are carrying your ammo in a magazine in your gun and you are spending 6 months out of the year running the fuck over with sweat and slop that is pouring into your fucking poor concealed carry firearm on a daily basis because you live in like one of the armpits of America, like where I'm from in Alabama, where 100 degrees and 100% humidity is a mid-June day, not even the hottest part of the year, you need to change that ammo out of that gun at least every 6 months. Just, hot season to cool season. Change that shit out. The other one is, if you live in a place where maybe you don't carry that gun all the time, maybe it gets carried a few times a year, a couple times a month, whatever, you might be able to let that ammo run a couple of years. At a minimum, even if you're in a controlled environment all the time, you're not sweating all over your shit, you probably should still change your ammo out at least once a year. Something to keep in mind, usually the top 2 to 3 rounds out of every magazine, especially the one that you have, I know for me, whatever gun I am carrying has a round in the chamber. Period. End of discussion. If I am not carrying that gun on me, that gun is airline loaded, which airline loaded means I have a empty, cleared firearm that has a fully loaded mag inserted so that if something happens, all I have to do is rack the slide and go to work. I leave my guns like that because my wife knows how to do it, and I don't have to worry about anything else going wrong. So, in that case, as rounds get cycled in and out of the chamber, you get something known as setback, which is where it starts pushing the round further and further into the case, which creates a high pressure situation. And the day you figure out your gun does not like what the fuck you did and it blows apart in your hand is probably also not the time you need it when you've crapped your pants because somebody wants to kill you. Change that shit out. For me, usually if it's gone in and out 4 or 5 times, I'll take a real close look at the thing. The other thing you're going to notice with stuff is that is clean and nice. That is not. This nickel-plated case has got scars and marks all over it. It's got some chewed-up parts on the rim, and I can actually twist this bullet around in the case. This is no longer safe to be carried on me for everyday carry or defensive use. I know this shit's expensive, but if your life is not worth the cost of the extra McChicken at McDonald's, we need to talk about how to evaluate your self-worth, which is a whole different thing, and we can go through that. You can show me on the teddy bear where life hurt you, and we can color some pictures, and we can go on about our day. I'm telling you guys, 4 or 5 times, start looking at it. If you've got some stuff, your top couple of rounds are really corroded, but everything else is pristine in the gun, swap those rounds out. Get some clean rounds into the gun because clean rounds run better in guns. Check those bullets. If those bullets twist at all in any form or way, out of the magazine immediately don't carry that anymore because you don't know if you've set it back, if it's extended out. You also don't know if it's maybe micro-fractured the inside of the case mouth up here, which can lead to catastrophic failures in your firearm. So, take care of your system. Your gun needs to be clean. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. I know it's a Glock, it'll run dirty. I don't give a fuck. Clean your gun, please. For the love of God, take care of your shit. It's like somebody buying a fucking Ferrari and then dumping McDonald's bags on the floor. For the love of God, just take care of your stuff. If you take care of your things, it'll take care of you, period, end of discussion. Your ammo needs to be clean, fresh. If your ammo is discolored and you've been carrying it around and you've been sweating basically toxic crap all over it and it smells like the inside of your gym bag, you probably should swap all that ammo out because you don't know if anything's wrong and you don't want to take the risk that you missed it. That said, for me, it's a minimum once a year. Anything that I carry on a regular basis, the ammo gets swapped out, period, once a year. If I am in an incredibly hot environment like during the summer and I have ball sweated the shit out of my holster, that ammo is gone at the end of the summer. I don't want to run the risk that the day I need it, it doesn't work. Discolored rounds, rounds that move, they're gone immediately. Get something else in there. And for the love of God, pick an ammunition based on the fact that it works, not because the box is cool. So there you go, guys. I am Uncle Freedom. Fun fact for the day. Like and subscribe, tell a friend, because we're growing. If you got questions, thoughts, concerns, queries, or you're just mad because I made fun of the way you fucking load your gun, that's cool too. Tell a friend. That's fine with me. But anyhow, guys, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and until next time, see you later.